In other news, there are two important questions that remain unanswered this morning about the city's plan to move its rail transit line farther away from Honolulu International Airport's runway. Now, the city claims it's still calculating how much the change will cost and is yet to notify the landowners of 6 parcels that will be condemned for the project. The city wants to move the rail line from Aulele Street, 1 block Mauka, to Ualena Street, so it won't be in the runway protection zone required by federal government. Some airport area businesses are worried they'll have to move out to make way for rail.
I really love to stay here. I don't want to move, but, I'm just a little guy. I don't have no choice.
The city says construction on the airport portion of the rail line won't start until 2014. And joining us more to talk about this is Wayne Yoshioka. He's the City Transportation Director. Good morning, Mr. Yoshioka, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Mahilan.
So as you just heard, the big question is how much it'll cost, and you folks say you're still doing the calculations, but how long is that going to take, and shouldn't we know sooner how much this might inflate the cost of rail?
Sure. Well, let me give you a little bit of background. First of all, this whole breakthrough right now came about because of Mayor Mufi Hanneman's request for a major meeting that happened in mid-March. And that meeting pulled together the Federal Aviation Administration, the Federal Transit Administration, State DOT, Airports Division, and us. And we got together, identified some potential solutions, had our technical staff look at it, and it looks like this alternative, which involves not a wholesale shift of the alignment. It's still basically an Aulele alignment, but it's an avoidance of the RPZ. So it goes around the RPZ. And
runway protection zone.
Right,
RPZ,
runway protection zone. And it really just avoids the runway protection zone and gets back to its original alignment. So again, this seems to be the most feasible, most economically efficient way to do it.
Now, didn't city officials know about this long ago? In fact, we had Mayor Mufi Hanneman on a few weeks ago, and it sort of sparked a war of words. He said that they didn't know about this until December 2009, but the transportation director from the state says that they notified the city in 2006, and he showed the documents to prove it. So why didn't the city work on this issue sooner?
Well, I'm not sure about December 2009, but mid-2009 is when we were made aware that the runway protection zone interfered with the fixed sky realignment. And at that time, when we found out, due to our consultants looking at it, we went right away to the DOT and talked about it. And since then, we've been in discussions with the DOT, the FAA, and the FTA about this issue.
And what's your response to the State Transportation Director's documents that say that the city knew about this years ago?
No, I think what Brendan was doing was just trying to clarify what has happened historically. But if you look at his documents, none of the documents talk about runway protection zones. And in fact, the 2006 document is a standard document that you expect to see in the scoping, which says whenever you're in the airport area, be aware of all the rules that you have to follow. And again, we believe we followed all the data that was given to us. We're working very closely with DOT. We appreciate their cooperation, and we'd like to keep on working with both the DOT, FAA, and FTA to move this forward.
You heard from some of those landowners in the area who are concerned about their land being condemned. What can you tell them at this point?
Well, right now, and I saw the word 6 parcels. I think I'd like to clarify that 6 parcels contain buildings that are older than 50 years old. Mm-hmm. And we have to run that by the State Historic Preservation Division because in Hawaii, under Hawaii law, anything that's over 50 years old could potentially be historic. Now, we don't think these buildings are historic, but we're going to run it by SHPD. They have a 30-day period to determine that, and we think we're okay there. Now, in terms of parcels or takes, we'll let our technical crew figure out exactly what needs to be taken. Some of the land actually is vacant, mm-hmm. that's crossing over, and it's owned by the state DOT. And the other lands are private. So again, we're not sure exactly what the take is or how much it is, but our technical guys will figure that out and we'll let everyone know. First, responsibilities to the property owners. We'll let them know first, and then we'll let everyone else know.
And how soon could that be?
We're thinking that's within a couple weeks or so.
Okay, all right. City Transportation Director Wayne Yoshioka, thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you very much.